Hello, this is a quick video response to a recent upload by the channel BWS Live for a few weeks ago. Pardon the shaky camera. I'm filming this with my phone. Um, about uh, that when people sometimes upload pictures of their audio system, and some people see that you have your speakers mounted in the same surface as your turntable. There starts the yelling and well, not yelling, yelling in a quotes, uh, because they're angry keyboard typing people. They are just saying that you are an incorrect setup because the vibrations of these speakers, not these speakers are going to be picked up, being transferred by the surface, being then picked up by the cartridge, generating a feedback loop in a similar manner as a microphone too close to a speaker. And then that will affect the audio quality, the audio fidelity, and all that. You know what. So BWS Life did a video to debunk that myth that if you have speakers in the same surface as your turntable, there's an unlikeliness that feedback is going to occur due to the construction of the turntables. Due to there's not gonna happen. So he demonstrated that with a pair of I think they were computer speakers, then put it bookshelf speakers, and with a little Iowa turntable, and not even with the volume reaching uh, peak volume that could damage your ears. Not even so, he achieved feedback. And the only way he achieved the feedback was when he placed a high volume amplifier speaker for a guitar or bass, electronic bass, underneath the turntable, and only so he got a feedback. So my video is because I do have my speakers mounted in the same surface as the turntable, and I do get feedback. Now, my reasoning behind all of this is the following. Number one, my speakers are a bit bigger than the ones in the video that BWS Live did, and bigger that they're sufficiently bigger that the vibrations of the subwoofer, even so at volumes that cannot damage your ear, are the vibrations are transferred via the surface and picked up by the cartridge. So the speakers are the number one cause, not the number one, number one in the list of the few reasons I have the oscillation, the feedback of the vibrations getting picked up by the cartridge. Number two, my turntable, it's not a it's like a normal one, just not fancy, nothing very fancy. Uh, then I will explain a little bit further why I think is the turntable. Number two is the cartridge. I have a very light tracking cartridge. It's a P mount. It's currently tracking at 1.5 grams. So it's a very light uh, tracking force that is being applied to the record, and that's what is recommended between 1 gram and 2.5 grams. They were the recommended ones for this type of cartridge, the needle, the P mount needle. Now, why do I think the turntable? Well, I don't know particularly how is the suspension of those in that Iowa speaker, that Iowa turntable, but in this one it does have suspension. Has a rubber thingy that is between this foot, the foots of the turntable, and the chassis. So there's a suspension, but there's not much suspension travel. It is a little bit, so it's rigid. It's not that springy that can dampen the vibration. So that's, I think, the number one cause of why do I experience that feedback between the vibrations. Number two is the super light. So any vibration that does not get dampened by the suspension on this turntable, they get picked up very easily due to the light tracking and of this uh, turntable, this cartridge I have. Now, another cause of may in your case and anyone that's seen this case that is experiencing feedback when in this configuration when your speakers on the same surface is equalization. If you have a very bass boosted equalization, you are most likely to have feedback even at low medium to low volumes. So that's one that can happen. So uh, I will not demonstrate what does happen if I induce oscillation, but I can demonstrate the easiness, the ease which this cartridge can pick up any vibration. So I'm going to bang the surface, and you will see in the VU meter of this mixer how it spikes in there. So I'm not going to fiddle with the volume because I don't want to pop any components. So listen and see this. And if I went a little bit too harsh, but if I go kind of lightly, you can even see it. So we're not going too harsh, but you can see that it is being picked up. So so all things considered, too big of a speaker. But in my case, it's a perfectly fine speaker. But if you cut this is a big speaker in this configuration, so any vibration that it generates, so it gets very little dampening. The lightness of the cartridge can pick very easily any small vibration. Then it is it's a gradient, upward gradient. So in when the oscillation starts, it gets louder and louder. So it saturates. So it generates more. That's why it's a feedback, because once it starts, it getting bigger and bigger, bigger and bigger and bigger. So that's why in my setup, and maybe in your setup, if you're watching this, that may be the reasoning behind why do you get the feedback. So in conclusion, results may vary, because if you have small speakers, very good turntable with a good suspension, you will never have the problem of feedback. Maybe if your speakers are somehow suspended, because I do remember of some speakers they have air suspension, so the vibrations pretty much stay in the cabinet and does not travel to the surface of where they're placed. So in this case, these are not, even though it has felt pads on the bottom of those. So results may vary, because if your equalization is too boosted towards the lower frequencies, you can get feedback. If your speakers are big and and they can produce low frequencies very easily, you can get feedback. If the suspension of your turntable or record player is not dampened enough, the frequencies can pass through and go to the stylus. And even and better so, if your cartridge is very light tracking, you're most likely to pick up any vibrations, even placing down a pen or something. Well, that did not showed, but even the small bumping in the surface may cause picking the pick to pick any small bump in the surface can be picked up by the cartridge. So yeah, that's basically it. I hope you find this video informative, and if you're watching this VWS live, it's an honor and to have you seen this video. I'm very much a fan of your channel. I have been a long subscriber of yours, and I have seen quite a few videos, almost 80 to 90% of your videos. So here you have a YouTube viewer, the other side of the river. I'm watching your videos, and also the Techmoan channel. So if Techmoan is seeing this, so hello to you from Mexico, from the city of Ciudad Juarez, in the state of Chihuahua, practically the other side of neighbor city of El Paso, Texas. So hope this video is informative. See you someday, somehow.